calling on this and why it's so important to spike the hike?
Well, you know, it's like putting a needle in. I guess you keep doing a little bit at a time, and you think, well, it doesn't hurt that bad, so I can stand it. And then all of a sudden, you look back and you say, I've added 60 cents a liter to gas. At what point do you bring this thing to reality? So, you know, the analysis done earlier said, well, it's only going to be 60 cents on a fill up. Well, currently, you know, with the 17.6 cents, that's and where we are right now, you know, it relies to an extra $10 on the total carbon tax to date. But then you keep moving that along to the 60 cents, it becomes more and more relevant. So you're at some point, you bring it up and say, okay, when are we going to realize that this is a punitive tax, not achieving the big picture results, and we think we're saving the world on climate change? And that's the point. We are causing impact, negative impact on every citizen. So you can argue with me, or you can look at across the country and see 7 provinces that are saying this is a problem. And you can say, well, what can we do about it? And 7 provinces that are represented by, different parties, that this is a problem. So at some point, you'd like to think there would be an ear to hear this and say, all right, yeah, we're getting deeper now. It's costing more now. It's not just about another 3 cents in April. It's about all of the cumulative effect of increased cost of energy, and particularly in provinces that have no other alternative.
The PBO once again reiterated yesterday that the carbon tax is has a net negative impact on families. Can you talk a little bit more to the negative impact it's playing on families in New Brunswick?
Well, to me, the issue becomes calculating the full spectrum of what it means to have our energy costs. We've seen costs go up in every sector, and the grocery stores particularly that have gone up, in building supplies gone up. And so our inflationary costs have gone up. So we're seeing a little change in the inflation rate, so let's hope that continues to drop. In New Brunswick, we've seen assessments go up dramatically, but we've had a population growth here for the first time in many years, so it's had an impact. But the cost of housing is preventing more houses being built. And so people just look and say, well, is the government going to come up with a solution here to solve the problem? Well, let's focus on the problem. Let's get back to the policies that are creating a problem, or certainly having a major impact on making it worse, rather than try to pretend we should put Band-Aids on in order to mitigate just a poor policy.
This Liberal NDP government consistently says Canada is the problem. Premier Higgs, can you please let this Liberal NDP government know how Canada can be the solution and why it's not the problem?
Yes, I did. And what I was saying earlier is about what we're seeing in BC and Alberta with export of energy and natural gas. What we can do on the East Coast is the very same thing, is export with natural gas and LNG. And the issue is that is a climate action that mitigates the affordability challenge, because the revenue would be used both for offsetting costs for people in the province, and it would be used for technology development. When we develop the technology, people are going to be more acute, more astute about how they can manage and reduce their emissions. You know, we talk about the electric cars. We're not able to cope with electric car productions or the battery productions to meet the requirements for 2035. And so the point is, let's have a realistic plan to transition through this time period, but let's use our resources to pay for it rather than everybody's home, everybody's pocket. Let the resources pay for the change that we all know we must.
Thank you, Premier. My last question is, the Governor of the Bank of Canada clearly stated that 0.6 of the overall inflation number in Canada today is contributed by this carbon tax scam. 0.6. And if we got rid of it, it would put a massive dent in inflation that might help to lower the interest rates faster after we've seen this government double the cost of mortgages and houses and rents. Can you please tell us how important it is to axe this tax on housing?
Well, I think that
very brief.
It's very important. I mean, to look at all these taxes that are being put on buildings, on the issues of fuel, of the issues of commodities, it all flows into higher costs. So I think that we just need to rethink our program and what we can do in the world to have the greatest impact.
Thank you, Premier Higgs. Mr. Kusmer.